An ARP spoof is performed replying to an ARP request before the real owner of the IP address. Because of the lack of authentication mechanisms in ARP protocol, you're able to set yourself as the owner of the IP in the source machine's ARP table. Okay, to understand the ARP spoof or ARP cache poisoning attack, let's remember the ARP protocol and its principles once again. Address Resolution Protocol, ARP, is a network layer protocol used for mapping a network address such as an IPv4 address to a physical address such as a MAC address. To simulate how the ARP mechanism works, we have a small network in the slide, a switch on top, and 3 computers connected to it. Computer A wants to talk to computer C. It puts an ARP request onto the wire, which happens to be broadcast. Essentially what it's saying is, who has computer C's MAC address? Of course, because it's a broadcast, every system on the network hears it. Does everybody respond? Well, what happens is that B hears that A is looking for the MAC address of computer C. B knows that it's not computer C and therefore does not respond to the broadcast. The broadcast, the ARP request, goes out to every system, but the only system that will reply is computer C with an ARP reply. In other words, computer A says, who has the MAC address of computer C? And although all the workstations hear the question, only C replies and says, I've got the MAC address of computer C, and this is what it is. So the ARP reply sends back the MAC address to computer A, and each of these machines start building an ARP table. These are how ARP requests and responses look in Wireshark. The first packet is an ARP request. As you see, it is broadcast. And the second packet is an ARP reply. The owner of the IP 207 answers with its MAC address. As you see, ARP request is broadcast throughout the network, and the first reply is trusted and accepted. Okay, so we have already seen the routine of the ARP protocol. Computer A sends an ARP request. The request is broadcast. The owner of the IP replies with an ARP reply, and both sides update their ARP tables. Now we have an attacker in the network. Okay, so this is how the ARP spoof attack works. Computer A wants to talk to computer C. If the MAC address table of computer C is not in the ARP table of computer A, it puts an ARP request into the wire, which happens to be broadcast. This is the point where all the computers on the network get the ARP request. So although it's not his IP address, the attacker replies the ARP request before the real owner. In this ARP reply, the attacker puts his own MAC address corresponding to the target IP address. Computer A receives the ARP reply and stores the address pair in its ARP table, and communication takes place.